school pod throwback right now with holding the microphones.
Yeah, there's not really a great place to set up the arms in this new RV.
Yeah, it's a lot better, though. It's worth it not having podcast arms, I would say, for our overall quality of life.
I would say so. Yeah, we actually have the high ceiling, so it doesn't feel like we're crammed in a box anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's we have a whole garage, which is getting organized.
Gosh, it's taking so much time, it feels like.
Yeah, it is. Overall, a very chaotic week again, and we had a little bit of fun, I would say.
We had one day.
One day.
That just doesn't seem right. Yeah, so we moved into this fifth wheel about 3 days ago, and it's just been a matter of organizing everything, getting all set up again, and I think by tomorrow, Monday, when this releases, we'll be at Altura Snowbird.
Which we're very excited about. They had a crazy snowstorm where they got about 5 or 6 feet of snow in a day, and the whole canyon was shut down.
For multiple days
due to just extreme avalanche danger. I think there was several avalanches. I mean, I don't think anyone was hurt, where the road was washed out from snow, basically. Yeah, so we're going to head down there. But we had an awesome powder day at Deer Valley during that same storm cycle,
Yes.
which was just unreal.
I mean, I think there was maybe one day last year in Utah where it was this steep, but I didn't expect it. I knew it snowed, and I thought maybe we would have like 4 or 5 inches when we got there, but this was like a foot.
It was amazing.
When you got back to one side of the mountain, I don't even remember where exactly we were, but it was still untouched and super deep. And we're getting to the point where we can just play in whatever trees we want. So we were just back there and having a great time.
It was so fun. And Deer Valley, I don't know. I'm sure there's still a lot more of Deer Valley for us to explore, even though I think we've been there probably more than any other Utah resort, because this is our 3rd year skiing Utah and Deer Valley, I guess. It doesn't seem to be as steep. What do you think as other kind of resorts that we've been to?
It's definitely not as steep as Jackson. It's not as steep as Squaw. Squaw has KT and a couple of other really steep ones. And I don't know, from what I can find at Deer Valley, it just doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
It maybe has one, but not nearly the same as what we're used to.
But I kind of still like it. It's different. You know, there's something about, you have the trees and stuff that you can really go play in, and it's not too steep. So I don't know. I like that.
And I also like that they're not all evergreens.
Dogwoods, right?
Like, okay. Yeah, I was going to say a birch. So yeah.
Birch, yeah, that might be it. Yeah.
One of the two. But the foliage doesn't come until they're probably starts at 30 feet in the air. So you're able to just ski through a bunch of these trees instead of being afraid of all the holes in the evergreens. So I do like that about it.
Yeah, no, it's really fun. I don't know, and it's been cold as hell here in Utah every day.
And we are not a fan. So it's gotten down into the single digits a couple of times. It's going to be in the single digits again on Wednesday. I think it's getting down to 4 degrees. And I think it wouldn't be as bad if we were in a house with a fenced-in backyard. But because we have Bud and he's a puppy, and we have to actually take him outside, whether it's in the middle of the night or
just
in the middle of a
whenever.
windstorm during the day, and that's cold.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much everything we do is a challenge with him. Doing this podcast right now is a challenge.
Yes.
We just went through a nice, probably 25-minute ordeal just trying to get him to calm down enough so we could record this, because it wasn't working. Yeah.
He had a lot of energy, so we started by we took him to the dog park to try and burn off some energy. And of course, there's only one other dog there, and this dog comes up to my chest, like
I asked the guy, it was a Great Pyrenees. is what he called it. It looks like a Game of Thrones wolf type, dog.
Massive.
Massive dog.
Yeah, so Bud's not really playing with this dog.
He tries though, and he gets put in his place.
And yeah, wore him out a little bit. Play some fetch. Finally, he's out.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think about, because we have maybe 6 more weeks, maybe it's 5.5 weeks left in Utah before we go to our next destination, and finally we're getting to a point of hopefully getting into some consistency, being able to ski a few times a week and actually kind of enjoy our time here, because while we've enjoyed our time to an extent here, it's not been that fun because we've been just so busy doing other crap. So like, what do you look forward to the most over the next 5.5 weeks here?
My goal starting this Monday is to ski at least 3 times a week. So we want to do, 2 full days at least where we put Bud in daycare and we can just go ski. And then at least one other like really quick Deer Valley couple hour one where we can throw him in his crate. So I look forward to at least skiing 3 times a week. And you said there's 5 weeks. So 15 more days of snow of skiing minimum.
I like that challenge.
Yeah.
I think we almost have to do something like that because it's so cold here and there's really nothing else to do.
Like, let's make it worth it being in the snow. We came to this location to ski, and all we've been doing is freezing our ass off. So I want to take advantage of it and do what we came here for.
I know, but RVing in the winter is not what I thought it was going to be. I mean, I knew that it would be cold. Like, we did a lot of research, but the thing with RVing in the winter is you are kind of, I feel like, except for the times where you're skiing, you're kind of just trapped in your trailer. Like that's how we've been. I mean, because it's literally 20 degrees outside. So we're not going to just go sit outside and enjoy the stars or sit by a fire or grill or do anything. Obviously, even if you have a house, it's not that much different. But if you have a house, you have a little more space to walk around in,
Yeah.
Yeah, RVing in the winter, it's not this, I don't know, I had this glamorous idea of us being at this nice RV park and being 15 minutes from Deer Valley and like having all this skiing to do, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence for next year, like next winter, what our approach is for it.
Well, I think it will be what you think it is after all of this is over. And we're pretty much settled in now. So yeah, if you have 3 days of skiing a week and the other days are busy with doing things like this, podcasting, school,
work and
doing things with our product. And I think that's going to be fine. Like, I'm a huge fan of a month where I like the idea that we had of coming here for a month, defrosting, going down south, and then coming back. So like maybe 2 months of winter, which that number keeps decreasing. But right now I'm thinking 2 months of winter is great.
I know we've been looking because Utah is such a cool state because St. George, southern Utah, about 5 hours south of here, it's in the low 60s to mid 60s. I think next week it'll actually be in the 70s during the day. It's desert, so it's just super sunny every day. And we're like, oh man, if we were in there right now, that'd be really nice. I mean, we wouldn't be skiing if we're down there, but I mean, I'm almost like, oh, we had a good winter. Let's, it'd be nice to be mountain biking, hanging out in the sun, doing some grilling, just hanging out. Cause it's right now, I mean, we like to hike and do all that stuff kind of every afternoon, at least when we lived in California.
Every afternoon.
And,
almost.
There's so many trails around here, but obviously they're covered in snow and some of them you can bring yak tracks and stuff, but it's not I'm not really trying to go out at 3 p.m. on a nice ice hike. I don't really want to do that. Like I may do that once a week, maybe really motivated just to get out and do some exercise, but it's tough. It's a tough environment.
It is. And we've talked about mountain biking as well here, and we might try and throw that in throughout our stay. But again, it's hard. It's 20 degrees as a high. And what are you going to do? Go mountain biking and have extra wind in your face when the wind
I
chill's
can't.
already probably like 5 degrees.
I think the lowest I've ever. So when I lived, I think I rode. No, in Korea I didn't ride. So in Chattanooga, there was a couple cold winters where I would ride, and I would wear these like neoprene booties over my shoes to help keep, and then I would wear these like thick wool socks that I pretty much wear here all the time, and then I would also put my kayaking pogies over my handlebars, and I would ride because I was just like, I have to go ride. I was so addicted to riding when I lived there, and I would do that, and I think it was probably in the 30s was about as cold as I would do it. Like I remember riding in some ice and stuff and mud, and it was pretty cold. But it's even colder here.
Yeah.
So I don't see myself really that motivated or dedicated to riding in those. I think 40s is as low as I really want to go.
And then if we're doing what I was just talking about, where we're up here skiing for a month and we're just really getting after it, going all the time, then we can go ahead and take a month off in St. George, as you were talking about. If that's what we decided to do for our defrost period, then we can mountain bike and get after that for a month and then come back and ski. So maybe it's not like what we were able to do in Auburn, where we can do all three of our favorite things in the same week. Maybe it's 1 month you're doing one thing consistently, and then the next month you're doing the next activity consistently.
I do think I like that style, and I think I would have. I mean, we had this weird transition of just kind of jumping into RV life and then, adjusting our RV, model and everything. So it's been really chaotic since we've been here, and it would have been a lot better, I think, if we had done this all in, somewhere warm, just to get used to it, to ease into the RV situation. However, now that we've kind of adjusted and we're used to it and we know what winter RVing entails, I do think if I were, or next year, our approach would be like that, to where maybe we do 2 months at a time, but maybe we do just do a month, but we come in with the mentality of like, okay, this is ski month.
Yes.
So let's ski 4 or 5 days a week. That's what we're going to do while we're here. And then we're going to take a month off, and then we can come back. And the benefit of winter here, as we've learned compared to other places, is the sites are available. Like there is availability in the winter versus snowbird sites where it's highly competitive and you have to book very, 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 very in advance. I mean, we've adjusted our reservation several times now at this resort in Utah, or in Park City, Heber City, Salt Lake area, because it's winter, so it's not full. However, when we've looked into Moab, St. George, Arizona, like anywhere else, it's where all the snowbirds go, and those sites are booked. Because we already tried to kind of bail. We were like, all right, this winter's been good, but let's go ahead and call it quits.
Yeah, we tried to leave 2 weeks early.
We did, and we were denied because there's nowhere, you can't go anywhere warm right now because all the full timers are there.
Yeah. So we ended up booking actually the entire year. And it seems crazy that it can be February right now, and we're having to book for November and December.
Yeah. I mean, I guess should we announce it? Our dates and where we're going?
Why not?
We were going to kind of surprise some of my family, but, we were already kind of committed to going there anyway, so I don't think it matters at this point.
Right. I would need to look at my photo that I took to know exactly where we're going.
Yeah, Ashley made a whole spreadsheet on the route and had a good time with it, and it was very useful. I don't think we could have done it without it, to be honest. It's a very complicated thing. I had no idea. RVing, especially, and a lot of what I read is from the pandemic, because so many people do this now, and a lot of people are just kind of RVing in the summer and seasonal, and camping in general, and it is insane how I thought we were ahead of the curve. I thought, like, okay, it's February. We're going to be booking for the summer, late summer. We already booked through June. We booked through June. When did we book that? Back in October or something?
Yeah.
So we knew enough to go ahead and book at least like the first 4 or 5 months of our journey. But just booking July, August, and September and October, we had to book now, and we had a enormous amount of trouble.
So we particularly had trouble booking for Labor Day.
Labor Day already booked.
And the 4th of July.
Everywhere. Crazy. I mean, we're obviously trying to go to cool places and fun places, but it's amazing to me
But
how.
even like West Virginia, sure, it's a cool place, but I didn't expect it to be completely booked out for Labor Day already.
Well, it's interesting with West Virginia is because I've been going there for a long time just due to kayaking, and recently it became the New River Gorge became like a new like the newest national park, and it's gotten all this attention, and I think a lot of it has to do with the influx of people doing the outdoor things and West Virginia's proximity to a lot of really major big cities, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, all that stuff up in the Northeast, and so I think the influx of outdoor people that are not really outdoor people, but are now that's all they can do is do outdoor things, has increased West Virginia's popularity. And so, yeah, it's booked out, or it was booked out, or is booked out through September. Campgrounds, like every campground.
Yeah, which should give a little hint as to where we may be going. Your family already knows that we will be in Georgia, right? Is that where we're doing our vacation with them?
So, well, we committed to going to a Florida beach trip with my family in late August, which is fun. I haven't been to Florida in a decade, so.
August 21st, I think,
Yes.
is when it started.
But normally, we wouldn't go just on a random trip to Florida. The only reason we agreed to it, which they don't know until now, is that because we were already planning to be in the Southeast.
Yes, we have dun, 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 booked Morganton, Georgia for the month of July and August.
Yeah, so we are. It's about 30 minutes from the Ocoee River. So that's going to be a fun kind of challenge for you to step up in terms of the whitewater to the Ocoee. And yeah, that's where we're going to spend the second half of the summer.
But not only that, for the first week of September, we're going to be in Jonesboro, Tennessee. And then the rest of September until the middle of October, we'll be in Summersville, West Virginia. So we're doing a Southeast summer.
Very excited. Very excited for all of it. I haven't spent a lot of time in the Southeast and in that part of the Southeast in several years. I mean, probably since 2013. So 7-8 years it's been since and I love that area obviously a lot. And I know you and I have been there a few times, but we've only been there for maybe a week or so at a time. And that's honestly not enough time to really appreciate and get to know that area. And I think that area deserves more time than we've given it. And so, yeah, it'll be hot as hell, humid as hell, but we'll be at least in the North Georgia mountains and near a lake, and it'll be awesome.
I think we need our dirt bike, moped, motorcycle rig by the time we get there so we can do our own shuttles.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely going to be a purchase we make in the future once we kind of recover from our recent array of purchases. But yeah, that it's gonna be awesome. I'm very excited. It's a weird thing because you think about this RV life, and we've obviously are not from California, but that's where we've lived, and we've done a lot of traveling throughout the country. And I'm from the Southeast, and you've been there a few times, but we could have gone anywhere. We could have gone up to Alaska or into Canada potentially. With this trip, we could have, or with this life that we've chosen, we could have gone to the Pacific Northwest. But I think it is fitting and fun and exciting for us to actually go to the Southeast. Even though it's summer and it's going to be really hot, it's a fun place.
It's nothing really new for you. A lot of it's going to be new for me, almost all of it. So that's exciting. But I guess why it doesn't really matter, in my opinion, is that we have all the time in the world to go to the Pacific Northwest. Like, we have all the time in the world to go to Alaska if we wanted, because there's no time frame to when we have to go back to living in a house and in one location or anything like that. So, yeah, we're going to go to the Southeast because you already know that you love it. And I'll get to experience some of the things that you love, which is really exciting for me. And then next summer, if we want to go to the Pacific Northwest, we can. If we wanted to go back to the Southeast, we can.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fitting that that's what we're going to do. It makes sense because you already know it. And learning this new life is already kind of a lot to handle. And it almost just takes one extra stressor away. And we won't be in totally new locations. So we can just focus on learning RV and learning this life opposed to learning new locations at the same time.
Yeah. And the way you're exactly right. And the way we get to do it is so awesome because we also are experiencing the West Coast. You know, we were in Jackson in, January, and now we're in Utah, and we get to spend a ton of time in Utah. And then we get to spend 2 months in Colorado, which is incredible, and then we work our way across the country, which that'll be a journey in itself.
Yep.
And then we get to spend, summer, late summer, early fall in the Southeast. Mm-hmm. And then we work our way back.
Yeah. I think we'll stop in Iowa for a couple of weeks, say hi to my family, and then we'll decide where to go from there.
I know we wanted to go to Moab when we were trying to escape, when we were like, all right, we've had enough winter. We were like, let's just go to Moab. Moab's booked up through June. It's no chance.
Yeah, we are looking at, after stopping in Iowa for a couple of weeks, heading down south for November, December, doing Moab and Sedona. Mm-hmm. So those ones aren't booked yet, but it seems like it might be the right call because then it could set us up to being close to here for February skiing, maybe.
For next winter. Mm-hmm. It's weird because when you kind of think of this life, at least when I thought about it initially, I was thinking, okay, like it's the ultimate freedom and, mobility. You can kind of just go wherever you want to go. And that's true. However, there's a lot of planning involved. You can't just simply like pick up and go to another. You can't just move somewhere. It's not that simple because surprisingly, so many people are doing this and sites are booked. You can't just go. You can't be like, all right, I want to go to Moab for a month. No, you can't.
And that's because we've chosen to do RV parks and always plugged in. I'm sure if we were to figure out how to do boondocking or the dry camping, then perhaps we can go find BLM. It's also a massive rig. This thing's 45 feet.
It's massive. It's massive.
Though it's not impossible to find BLM spots, because it completely is, it would be challenging. So we could pack up and just say, I want to go to Moab and find some BLM. Sure, possible, but not really what we're going for.
And the life that we live is kind of, unfortunate or fortunate. We need to be connected to the internet. We need to have some consistency in our life. And as much as I like the idea of being able to kind of pick up and go to random places, I also kind of dread it from what I've learned from this experience because it is a lot of work. I mean, when we move sites or when we pack up and go, it's taxing, and it's not the taxing part of just getting the RV ready to move. That's fairly simple because we've got everything kind of in its place and we just kind of put certain things on the floor and head out. It's the driving from A to B and then the resetting up. It's very stressful. When we picked up the RV the other day, it was only a 45-minute drive down to the dealer, and there's something about it, like when you're towing a 16,000-pound fifth wheel, even if it's only 45 minutes, the time you get to your destination, you're taxed. It's very stressful. Yeah. I mean, I can't explain it, and I do want you to experience it sometime soon, because I do think, if there anything ever happened to me or I couldn't drive or whatever, I'd want you to know how to do it. But
I haven't even driven the new truck yet. Maybe we should start there.
We'll start there. We'll start with parking the new truck. But yeah, it's just it's stressful as hell, And so the idea of doing this at any higher cadence at this point in our journey, like our experience, I really wouldn't want.
Right. We have, I know, booked 3 one-night stays in a row in order to get over to the Southeast. So we'll get to see kind of what that's like, and if we want to hook up sewer and water every day, or if we just do electric and use the facilities at whatever park we're in. But we've also done it in a way where we're only driving for maybe 5 hours a day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So maybe we'll have time to do it. We just don't know yet.
It's weird because on one hand, it's like awesome. You're taking your house with you. So when you pull into these RV parks, and some of them, they range in prices, but let's just say it's like $40 for the night. You know, you get a parking spot, you get access to laundry rooms, you get power, water, and sewer, and you have a dog park you can take your dog to. So like, and then you have your house with you, so you can cook dinner, you sleep in your own bed. So in a lot of aspects, it's definitely better than a hotel room. And that's fantastic. But it is still a lot of work, you know, and the driving aspect is fun too, because when we're mapping our drive across the country from, like, let's say Colorado to Georgia, you know, it's, I don't know what the miles was. Maybe it was like 1,200 miles or something. But I'm saying, like, I'm telling you, okay, the max I'm going to drive per day is 400 miles. Like the max, because I'm calculating our driving speed at 60 miles an hour. And that's what we're driving, is 60 miles an hour.
So typically when I was using this Excel sheet and I was trying to figure out where we were going to stop, typically the first and the last day, I didn't go over 250 miles. And then any kind of days in between, I have up to 400. But I don't think we really went much over 350 on any of our days. But that's something that you have to consider. It's not just, I want to go to West Virginia for this month, and then I want to go to North Carolina the next month. You actually have to map the park to the park, see how long that drive is, and then if there is a day or two in between, you have to adjust your months accordingly. So a lot of times we're showing up on like July 3rd or some random time throughout the month. It's not just this clean cut first like we initially had for these first 5 months.
Yeah, exactly. And there's something about, I don't know, when we kind of do these drives, I like the idea of having them be shorter days. And, you know, typically when we've done cross-country drives, and I know you've done several before we were together and I've done a ton, you're just trying to get there as fast as possible. Obviously, you're not towing anything, so that's different. But the benefit of kind of this little bit more of a relaxed attitude towards that is we can take our time, and you need to take your time when you're towing a rig of this size, or any rig. You really need to take your time. That's a very important thing. But, you know, the benefits are we get to take our time. It's 3 or 4 hours, maybe 5 hours of driving a day. But then you can still work out in the morning or in the evening. You can get up, you can drink some coffee, you know, you can cook dinner at night. That, to me, really makes the cross-country experience a lot less stressful.
At least we think.
We think. I mean, we're trying to mitigate it as much as possible. We know it's already going to be very stressful, but that'll hopefully help ease some of the stress.
Yes.
Because there's something about being able to eat your own meals and cook and not be forced to going out to eat and all that stuff that really, really is nice.
Mm-hmm.
So. And
I like the idea of taking our time, and, you know, it's of maybe a 5-hour drive, but just knowing that we don't necessarily have to be anywhere. Yeah. You talked about all these other trips. Typically, when I was going across the country or getting someplace, it's because I was taking like my 1 or 2 weeks of vacation that I would get off of my job, and I needed to maximize that time. And I wasn't wanting to spend it in the car. So I would drive for 12 hours straight if I needed to in order to get to my destination. Mind you, I might have to like take a nap after 3 minutes or 3 hours or something, pull over into town. But I would push because I only had limited vacation time. But now that this is just our life and we're traveling, it doesn't feel like that's something I need to do.
I'm really looking forward to being at that place. We're getting very close to where it's like this kind of relaxed mental state of just kind of like, all right, this is normal now. We don't have to go do anything, because I don't think we've had one of those days yet to where it just feels normal, to where we just kind of wake up and it's like, okay, let's get some work done. Let's go have some fun. Like, and that's it. It's been every day. We have a million things to do. We have 40 people to call. Mm-hmm. We're dealing with our engineering team. We're dealing with RV maintenance issues. we're dealing with booking parts for November, and then we have to call and cancel and all these various things. It's been a lot, and I can't wait to settle down a little bit.
Mm-hmm. We had our one day where we napped, but that still wasn't a day where we just napped all day long. We were still doing all the million things you just talked about.
Yeah.
And we're just waiting for it to get at least 40 degrees so we can go seal all the windows, because the sealant, it has to be applied at 40 degrees or more in order to actually stick. But there's still a lot of like house project kind of things that we need to do.
Did not anticipate those being part of our life anymore. I thought for sure when we move into an RV that I would no longer have to like be working on my house.
Yeah.
Boy, was I wrong.
Mm-hmm.
These things are not brand new. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You're still going to be doing caulking jobs, sealing things breaking, plumbing issues, electrical issues. It doesn't matter.
There's a piece of the roof hanging down in the bedroom over there that I need to fix.
Yeah.
Maybe stick some Gorilla Glue up there.
Piece of stripping. Yeah. I don't want to say piece of the roof. But it's constant. It's absolutely constant stuff.
Yeah. So it is. It's going to be nice once all of that kind of settles and we can feel like we're not in a hurry, because we are kind of in a hurry right now in order to get to fun. Mm-hmm. We're in a hurry to get this place set up and to get all these things finished so we can ski.
And just get into some sort of routine and just enjoy our time here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really amazing how wild it's been. And I had no idea. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, you and I say it every night or every day. It's just been so stressful, so much anxiety, so much stress. Every day we have to get up and hit the ground running. I mean, today we're doing this podcast, which is awesome, which normally we're trying to be a little bit ahead of it, but we haven't had time to really do them. And then we have to go out today outside and work on our where our water line hooks up to our RV.
Our splitter is leaking.
It's like why it just started leaking and now it's leaking, and so now it's freezing and leaking and freezing and leaking, and it's causing an icicle, and it's where our water line comes into our house. So we have to go deal with that today, and that's going to take at least an hour probably.
Yeah, well, it's also not just a spigot and a hose. Because we're in the winter, we have this electrical heated cord wrapped around the whole thing, and then insulation around that cord, and then like a third insulation around it, because our neighbors were just so nice and they provided that for us. So we figured we had to use it. But there's a lot that's going to go into like taking that all down and then reinstalling it after you change the splitter. So it's not just as simple as unhooking your hose, replacing the splitter, and plugging it back in.
This is like the piece too that we talk about a lot, is the winter RVing. Like, I cannot wait to be, as much as I'm looking forward to skiing the rest of the season, I can't wait to be done with winter RVing, because it is another level. It's so many extra hurdles. I mean, when you just go RV in the summer, and I haven't even done it, but I just already know, you just plug in your water. That's all you do. You plug it in. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to worry about anything else. But whereas here, we have to get like electrical cords and electrical heated tape and like all of these various things. We have to wrap it, and then we have to adjust it, and then it starts leaking, and then we have to do it all over again. And
at night, we're turning off the water.
We have to turn the water off at night because it's getting down to the single digits. It's too cold. We have to do the skirting around our RV, which the skirt that we spent a lot of money on is leaking too. So then we have to readjust that and fill it back up with air. It's a never-ending thing, and these are all things that you don't have to deal with in the summer.
Yeah.
So, that's why I think we'll probably do it a month at a time, maybe.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, I think we will. And I wonder when we're going to have to start booking that. I mean, we say we want to do 1 month at a time. Is that something we have to start working on soon?
Taking 2022 reservations now, probably in Moab. I'm sure they are. And that's apparently the most popular place in America. I couldn't believe it. There's probably, what do you say, like 10 RV parks in Moab?
Yeah, give or take.
Give or take. All booked for March, April, May, all the way through June. I think most of them were through June.
Yeah, we found that one in northern Arizona. Maybe there were 2 in northern Arizona that are still almost like 45 minutes from Moab, maybe even an hour. Mm-hmm. The one that we found, they were available, but there's nothing around them.
What are you going to do there?
It's just warm.
You're going to be driving to Moab every day.
Yeah, that's the only thing
Yeah.
you have going for you.
Yeah.
So we decided that that's not what we wanted. We'll just tough it out. And we're
crazy.
hoping that those 2 weeks where we decided to come back and stay in Heber City, that it'll just be a little warmer and it won't even matter.
I know. Do you think, because we were doing a little exploring on the Googs about mountain biking around here, do you think we would come back in the summer? It'd be kind of weird to come here because there's not really paddling here. But on one hand, the mountain biking in the Salt Lake City area looks incredible. I mean, I've never seen so many trails options.
Yeah.
It's
And
unreal.
maybe Salt Lake City is on I-80. I would imagine that we're going to be passing through at some point in the summer. And when that happens, yeah, sure. I think we'd stay for a month here in the summer. Because if we're, say, making our way back to California at some point in the summer for kayaking, maybe we're taking 80 and we're stopping in Salt Lake for a month.
I think that's a really good idea. Because I just think we could have a lot of fun here. And I would love to see what it's like in the summer. You know, I've never been here in the summer.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'd be fun. Well, I think we should probably wrap this up. Maybe we could say a little bit about our engineering team and where that's going. Just let everyone kind of get a quick update on that.
Well, typically we say, hopefully next month we should know more. Hopefully next month we'll have the prototype. But as of 2 days ago, on Friday, we had a meeting with our lead engineer, our project manager, and what's Colin?
The director of engineering.
The director of engineering, because as you'd imagine, we've been frustrated with them because they continued to tell us one thing and they weren't producing as they said. So we had this meeting and they came back and they gave us a schedule, and they are now projecting that it's going to take them 2 months to finish designing the prototype, which the main concepts are all there. Now they have to go in and start testing tolerances, using different materials to, I don't know, use different durabilities. I know the spring, it's causing them a few issues, so they're going to order several springs, so they have several options, and order paint. So yeah, 2 months in order to finish designing, and then 1 full month to receive all the new parts and put the prototype together. So we're looking at like an April 14th, I believe. Was that your birthday that it said that it was going to be
No,
ready on?
I don't think it was the 14th. Maybe it was. Either way, yeah.
It was mid-April.
Yeah.
So mid-April, we should have prototype in hand.
No, that was design complete.
Oh.
And then it's plus or minus. So it's May.
Mid-May prototype
Which
in hand.
is, interestingly enough, I was looking back through one of my old notebooks, and I don't know when we did this. I think we probably had this discussion maybe back in early December, when we started to really realize that this was not going to be a thing that was done anytime soon. And I had written down that mid-May looked like a potential prototype in hand date. And I did that as like a realistic date because I was like, there's just the way this experience has gone so far, I just didn't see it being any faster than that. And, you know, it's what you learn. It's crazy because we're coming up on, we started this project on my birthday.
Yeah.
That's when we started like funding the engineering team, and kind of we said we wanted to go this route and start our own business and bring a product to market. And so we're probably going to be at a year to do it. And we still believe in it. We still know it's going to happen. It is a rocky road. It's not an easy road. It's a terrifying road. It's a lot of money that we've kind of funneled and saved and put into this. And but we really do believe in it. And, you know, the pause that we took to deal with these communications issues was worth it because what we're going to get out of the final product is really incredible. And at least the full prototype, we're very excited about it. And we talk about too, once we get that full prototype, what does that mean? What's the next step? And we don't really know. I mean, we know that we want to have a bunch of content and we want to get a Kickstarter going, and that's about all we know.
It is. Kickstarter, whatever other platform, we will just need to find some way to finance optimization, which would be taking this prototype, making the tweaks that it needs in order to go into mass production. So we will need funding for that as well as inventory. So that's the next step, is figuring out how to make it happen.
How to get the money to basically get there. Because one thing we've learned from product development, and for anybody that's interested in product development, this is the way it works. You basically, you have to, as the individual that wants to create something or invent something, you have to find a way to fund that initial prototype.
Yeah. So this is the time where I wish I knew how to use CAD.
Sure. Wish you were an engineer.
Yeah. And I wish I had welding skills.
Right.
And that would have made all the difference, because this has been incredibly expensive. And had I have just known how to do all of that myself, it would have been better.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm thinking it's going to be different this time around. I know in our meeting we talked about that, and we were asking for reassurances in how we know that it's going to be different this time around. And what we've decided on is that every single Friday we will receive an update from the project manager. He will tell us if the schedule is even a day off track. Every Friday we will receive a new updated schedule with a new updated budget, and we will be able to see real time any kind of changes that are happening. And then we'll hear from our lead engineer, who has previously been our primary contact. He'll update us every time there's a big milestone completed with the actual project itself.
Yeah, and the approach is better this time, and now there's eyes on it. The company has eyes on it. The director has eyes on it, so we feel a little more comfortable about it actually getting done under on budget and everything else. So it's happening. It is happening. It's going on in the background right now. One of the million things we're juggling. Yeah. And we still are very excited about what it has to offer in the final product that we're going to be eventually able to offer. And that's another thing we talk about, is it may not be this winter. And what I mean by this winter is fall 21 season. It may not be, because we do need to get funding for it. Like, we've done the initial burden, we've covered that up front, or we are covering that up front. But the next step of the product development is getting an angel investor, somebody to come in, or a bank loan or whatever it may be, to help us get this thing to the market.
Right. And we're imagining when we get this prototype, it is going to be good enough to do something like a Kickstarter video. We can do a bit of marketing with it, but it's not going to be perfect.
It's going to be maybe, hopefully 90%, right?
Yes.
That's the goal. And the way we've gone about it, and the way we just recently kind of made changes, is we're going, like, the changes we did, we want it to be at 90%. If we hadn't done the changes that we just did, we would have probably been somewhere around 70%.
Yeah.
Without the JAWS system.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's going on. Also, I wanted to bring up, we have a sale going on right now. Winter 2021 is the code you enter at checkout. If you add a hat and a beanie to your cart, you'll get a beanie for free. So you're looking at $25 plus shipping, and you get 2 hats.
And how long is that going on for?
That's running through February right now.
Okay.
We might extend it too, because we just want to get all these hats gone, and then we'll get some new merch in there. So we want to get all that, get some hats, or get some dog collars. That's the next thing. And then eventually t-shirts. So
yeah.
Fun times.
Yeah. www.gnaroutdoors.com.
Yeah. Also check us out on YouTube. We're doing a bunch of fun stuff on there, doing RV videos, because they're fun and it's a unique experience.
Yeah. So YouTube, we didn't know. Like, I only knew the platform of basically Instagram. I don't even use Facebook. I get on there and I feel like I'm an 80-year-old person trying to like decipher how to use Facebook. I mean, actually, the demographics of Facebook, 80-year-olds probably know how to use Facebook better than I do.
I would agree.
But I stumble around in there a lot. I really only knew Instagram. YouTube, I didn't know either. But YouTube has been our primary focus lately over Instagram, over Facebook, over anything else, because the content that we're doing with the RV, it just resonates best on YouTube.
It does.
And so that one's our most fun platform, I would say, right now.
It's fun, for sure. It's a fun little side creative project.
It is. So go ahead and subscribe there.
Yeah.
And check out what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely appreciate it. And I don't know. I guess that's it.
That wraps it up.
Cool. Well, we'll see people when we see you. We're traveling around the country. And thanks again for watching.
See you next week.
See ya.